All right, so thanks for joining us here today. Why don't you just tell us your name to start off with?
My name is Ed Edmo.
All right, Ed, and tell me exactly what happened in the summer of 1986.
I was about 8 years old at the time, and I was with both my parents, my sister on Lake Wateree, and we dropped anchor, and my sister and I were swimming around the boat. And I was holding a pair of goggles in my hand, and I dropped them. And I took off my life jacket to swim down and go get them, and kept swimming deeper and deeper. And then before I knew it, it was too deep. So just started thrashing around underwater. And I couldn't get up, and all of a sudden, I see something swimming towards me. It looked like a person. But as it got closer towards me, I could tell it had like webbed hands and scales, I think gills, but the shape of a person. And after that, I blacked out.
And so, what happened after that?
I woke up on the boat. My family was gathered around me, and I thought it was my dad who had seen it underwater, but it just told me I floated up, and then they pulled me aboard.
And so, the figure you saw down there, it wasn't any of your family members?
I know it sounds weird, but it wasn't any of them. That's not even the strangest part. The goggles that I had dropped, they were in my hand.
So Ed, what did you see down there?
It was manfish. Manfish saved my life.
As strange as Ed's story sounds, he's not the only one to have seen this mysterious creature known as manfish. Though this legend may not be as popular as that of Bigfoot, manfish has had a significant international presence. People of various different countries across the world claim to have seen manfish, or a slight variation of this creature.
So tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Maximilian Jones. I'm originally from Sydney, Australia.
Okay, and tell us how you're familiar with manfish.
Well, that's an interesting story, actually. You see, manfish, as you Americans call it, ties in with ancient Australian nursery rhymes. It had something to do with when the Dutch first settled here. A lot of strange happenings seemed to occur. Like fishermen's nets would be cut, people would go missing, lots of noise at night, and eventually some explorers stumbled across this small civilization of strange people that seemed to worship this kind of fishman thing. It's really fascinating, actually.
So these accidents you mentioned, where exactly would they happen?
They usually occur along major bodies of water.
And you think it was manfish who was doing these things?
Well, that's what they tell you, isn't it?
So you mentioned Australian nursery rhymes. So how exactly does manfish tie into these?
Well, you see, a lot of parents worried about their kids' safety and all would warn their kids that if they got too close to the water unsupervised, that a fish man would come and capture them and drag them down underwater to the most of the time bloody, gruesome, watery grave.
I could see how this would be a good deterrent from keeping your kid going in the water.
It stopped me.
So Maximilian, do you believe in manfish?
Honestly, I don't know. If it's a legend, well, it's a certainly well-crafted one. But, sightings and reports of a man-fish attack aren't as frequent in Australia as other regions of the world. But then again, I'm no expert on this man-fish thing. I'm not doing a documentary. So I guess the real question is, do you?
Maximilian was right. Though there have been documented manfish sightings all over the world, there has been a significantly higher number in the southeastern United States. In the last 25 years, 88% of all manfish sightings have occurred from the southeastern United States. As a result, you could say that an obsession over manfish has developed.
All right, thanks for joining us. Just start out with, tell us who you are.
Yeah, my name's Alan, and we're manfish hunters. We've been hunting that son of a bitch since '73.
So, have any of you actually seen manfish?
Seen him? Hell yeah, I've seen him. I went 3 knuckle rounds with him in the backyard one night, slippery sumbitch. Got away from us though. Yeah, he comes around these parts quite frequently. This is my garden we're standing in. That's my truck. And yeah, he eats things up pretty regularly around here.
What do you think he eats exactly?
Well, it's interesting you ask. I got a pretty big theory that he's a strict vegetarian.
So, how close have you come to finding manfish?
Close? I come real close. See, the thing about manfish is he's always leaving behind these damn footprints.
He leaves behind footprints?
Yeah, some of this look like flipper-shaped footprints.
So, you said your group is called the Manfish Hunters, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Does that mean you're trying to kill manfish?
Kill him? No, we ain't trying to kill him. We're trying to capture him, really, because we're interested.
So, how are you going to capture them?
Well, it's funny you ask. You say we was thinking about setting up some vegetation piles or something, maybe with some hidden cameras or something, see if we can get a beat on that sumbitch. But, you know, well, so we're down there, and then we sitting in the trail, and then the guys put it up, and then sitting there, and then the guy said, "The first steak I do."
Any luck on the manfish trail?
Well, like I said, I seen him one night, and I went 3 knuckle rounds with him, but since then, there ain't been too much luck. But we got a good feeling about it. We'll keep trying.
So I hear that you guys have some very specific lingo regarding this whole manfish creature. Can you give me some examples, maybe?
Yeah, that's right. Well, for example, if you're on the trail, that's called man fishing. You set in a trap, we call a trap a VP. That stands for vegetation pile. That's with or without the camera. If you think you've seen a manfish come in encounter with one, we call that a USO. That's an unidentified swimming object. And sure enough, we even got, we can do the manfish call. And my boy Raymond, he's probably one of the best at it in the country, in the world. Raymond hit him with that. That's right. That's some of it. We're only 3 people in the world that can make that call, I'm telling you.
I was surprised upon meeting the manfish hunters. It was almost like this group had an unhealthy obsession with the manfish creature. However, they were not alone. I did an internet search for manfish fan clubs, and somehow I stumbled across something very unique. Alright, so thank you for being here with us today. Let's just start off with, tell us your name and tell us what you've been working on.
All right, my name is Thomas Trout, and I've been working on some music. My new album, it's called My Main Man, Manfish.
Okay, so Tom, sorry, can I call you Tom?
Yes, you can call me Tom.
So, Tom, what made you want to make this album about manfish?
Well, when I was just a kid, my dad used to play me all these songs about manfish, and then I realized that he learned all those songs from his dad. So, you know, I just really wanted to make a tangible manifestation of this just rich tradition of manfish music.
So I guess I would assume that manfish has been an important part of your family for many generations then?
Yeah, you know, growing up on the river, it's the town's always been about manfish, so it's been a big part of my life.
So, if you could, how would you characterize manfish music?
Well, you see, manfish music, it's primarily popular around southeastern regions, typically towns around large bodies of water. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it has a large presence here in the South.
Yeah, especially in Lake Watery. I'll tell you what, they love their manfish music.
So, how about the music itself? Like, what kind of instruments would a person expect to hear in manfish music?
Well, real manfish music is strictly banjo, but you know, there's some newcomers out here just mixing in acoustic guitars and whatnot, and it's cool or whatever, but I like to stick to the tradition of things and just make it strictly banjo.
Okay. So what about the subject matter of manfish music? What kinds of things would I expect to hear?
Typically it's usually about encounters with the manfish, or you know, that's mainly the subject of it. But you know, these different guys, you know, it's they take their artistic license and switch it up a bit and glorify the encounters, but I don't know.
So, would you like to play us one of your songs, maybe?
I can do that. This one's the first one I ever learned. So.
It became obvious to me that manfish has had a huge influence on many different groups of people. However, with any conspiracy mythos, there will naturally be skeptics.
All right, thank you for joining us today. Let's just start with, tell us who you are and what exactly you do.
My name is Dr. Kermit. I have my PhD in marine biology from Harvard University, and I've been working in the field for about 7 years now.
Well, we're here because I'm making a documentary about manfish, and have you heard of this creature?
Of course. It's sort of a running joke among us marine biologists.
Oh, okay. Well, do you believe in manfish?
Well, any esteemed scientist will tell you that there are 8.7 million species on the Earth, and we haven't exactly discovered all of them, but that's not to say that they don't exist. I'm not going to say that he doesn't exist, but I would say that it's highly unlikely that he exists.
Has any creature like this maybe existed before? What I mean to say is there any kind of evidence in the fossil record or biological evidence for a creature like manfish?
Well, all organisms originate from the ocean, and after millions upon millions of years of natural selection and mutations, some species manage to work their way out of the ocean and back onto the land, but these fossils would predate the dinosaurs, so there aren't many of these fossils to be found. There have been some isolated incidents. This creature, dubbed Frankenfish, became popular in the American media. It was interesting to people because it was a fully functional aquatic animal that crawled onto land and survived for 3 days.
So, manfish is described to have features that are man-like, obviously. Would it be possible for an aquatic organism to look like a person-fish hybrid and be amphibious?
Well, that's certainly an interesting theory that some of the more open-minded members of the scientific community have speculated on. There's a very interesting theory that this manfish may be an undiscovered evolutionary link, maybe even a link between humans and fish.
Dr. Kermit was obviously not convinced that manfish existed, but a few days after interviewing the manfish hunters, we got a call from Alan. Apparently he had seen something strange from the footage at one of his vegetation piles. I decided to investigate this lead, and I decided to bring Ed along with me as well.
Alright, so I normally don't like to appear in my films, but we got a tip from Alan, leader of the manfish hunters, that he spotted something at one of his vegetation piles. One of his cameras caught something, so we don't know what it is yet. We're just gonna go take a look and see what's out there. Ed, do you think we'll see manfish?
I don't know if we'll see him. I mean, I hope we do though.
Me too. Me too. Well, I think this is the vegetation pile that he was talking about, but I don't see any signs of anything. Do you see any like footprints or?
What's that right there? Oh my God! What is that?
Is that him? Is that him?
It was manfish.
I felt as if I was the crazy person who photographed Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, having to defend my discovery from the critics of the scientific world. Truthfully, Dr. Kermit's right. The footage is inconclusive. However, the look on Ed's face that day It told me everything I needed to know, even more than a mere picture could show. That was Man Fish.